Yeah.
No, I don't have any solutions. I didn't know you were.
Okay, ready?
That makes sense.
I'll call the meeting to order. If you would, please bow your heads for our invocation. Oh God, our Heavenly Father, we come to you tonight asking for your guidance. We especially come to you tonight as we remember the birth of your Son, Jesus Christ, during this Christmas season. Help us, O Lord, to come closer to emulating the things that we should be doing, living the lives we should. We ask, O Lord, that you bless the citizens of Harris County, that you bless our employees, and that you be with all of them throughout these holidays. Keep them safe, keep them under your guidance and protection. We ask these things in your name. Amen. First of all, I want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. It's nice to see you here, and we hope that you have a wonderful season. And if we aren't fortunate enough to see you sometime between now and the end of the year, we look forward to seeing you all in 2015 and hope it's a good one for all of you. If you would, please rise and we'll pledge allegiance to the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The first item is the minutes from the regular session of December the 2nd this year, and also the dog classification appeal hearing of Charles T. Haskell III.
Move for approval of both.
Second. All right, got a motion for approval and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Sorry, I changed. Raise your hand.
Through us all.
I did, threw myself off. Okay, appearance of citizens, Mr. Scott Moy. Scott? And do we have any others that signed up?
I'm here on the same subject.
Scott Moore, 14126, Highway 116, Highline Valley.
All right. Greg, you want to kind of recap what's happened since the last meeting?
Well, I've given Mr. Moy the results of the sampling they did on the E. coli, or fecal coliform, and those were within standards. One creek was a little bit higher than the other. We did visit with them last week, and one of the improvements that they said that they are going to make is they are going to put a flame on that methane coming out of that pond, which hopefully will mitigate some of the smell. We'll see how that works out. The other thing is that they said that they had improved were in the process of improving their process, and their water use definitely is down. From the county aspect, that's a good thing, because that leaves us a little more water to spread around. They pledged to continue to try and work with us. That's basically the gist of it. You may remember other aspects.
They have switched over to gas.
Yes.
Do you know what the date was they switched?
Been a couple of weeks now.
Yeah, it's been a couple of weeks, but I don't know the exact date. They have switched over totally. They burned all the
The
cars.
noise is no better than.
And the noise is no better.
I didn't know exactly what date, but I listen all the time. No,
Yeah.
in the last 2 weeks, no, it has not gotten better.
Okay.
It's more of a, like a helicopter off at kind of a distance, that womp, 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 womp. And it gets louder as the night goes on. So, like I said, I'm not up there, I'm just telling you what I hear, I don't know what it is.
Okay.
But you know, talking about the creek, I was looking at that. But that Fort Creek one runs on 116, that's a creek. The one behind my house is just a small one. That's a big difference still. 200 versus 20, that's a huge difference. But I know what I'm trying to do is kind of a gray area with EPD and everybody else because of how to test it. But everything from that plant comes through my pasture, from the front of it, or whatever the fall is, wherever that line is. Fort Creek is where they disperse their water after it's supposedly clean. But what I get is what's off the parking lot, front of the plant, and wherever. And I understand they have grates. But will those grates hold all the water on a 4-inch rain? I don't know how deep they are. Is all that calculated in there? Does it just, while it's not raining, does everything work right? But when it rains, if they stuff in there, where's it going? I mean, can it handle that much water? I don't know. So there's a lot of questions there.
Theoretically, the worst of the runoff is in the first half inch.
Well,
So-
see, and that's what I want tested. But everybody's telling me you can't do that. I'm like, why not? Well, it's not a true test. Why not? You know, EPD wants it done 48 hours after a rain. I mean, everything's diluted, everything's done washed on to other parts. Sure, there's gonna be some residue, but you don't have that. And it's like I always say, it's just like flushing the toilet up there. When it rains, everything comes to me. And that's when it's at the strongest, whatever's coming through there. And just testing for the E. coli is not enough. Well, I know we got ammonias and nitrate, all kind of other stuff coming through there. And I guess I'm gonna have to end up doing that myself, but if I have to, I will. I'm not giving in to them, you know, just because they're telling me everything's open now. That's not good enough. I want that water problem. Something's gotta be done about it one way or another. And when I get to the right person, hopefully we can get that done. But I'm just hoping we, as a commission, everybody can the county can put enough pressure on them, you know, y'all need to step up. You know, they're gonna tell you what you wanna hear when you go up there. They're a little more honest with me, that, you know, well, we ain't gotta do it unless we want to. But that's what I'm hoping is a group that we can put enough pressure on them. I know it's not gonna be perfect, but we gotta get it down to where it's bearable at night. You know, from 6 o'clock on is when it starts up, and I think that's their cleaning shift. I don't know exactly what time it
The
starts.
noise you're talking about.
Hmm?
You're back on the noise.
Right, I'm only noise now. But, well, all of it together, put it all in the same box, but still, at night is when it's the roughest, with the noise and so forth and so on. And then the smell fluctuates from one week, one day to the next. It can be awful one day you don't notice. But I just don't think we should stop putting pressure on them to make it bearable anyway. You know, they're not leaving, we know that. I'd offer to go up there and help them pack up everything, and I'd work for them for nothing, but, you know, beside the point.
Scott, this drainage that goes across your pasture, does it affect the grass? I mean, what effects are you seeing?
My effects on my side is where the culvert next to the little store in the plant, that one right here. Now, you can't tell me, common sense is gonna tell you in summertime, when this grass over here where that water runs, and it's not sitting on it, it's where it's running through there. It'll be higher, thicker, I mean, it's thicker than hair on a dog's back.
It's getting good nutrition.
Well, you can consider that good nutrition in a way.
Yeah, but it's problems.
But you go right over here, and it's almost dead. So, I know it's something going on there. Whether it's good or bad, I don't want it. That's my whole point right there. Now, on the other side over there, I don't own that property, but right next to the driveway, that's Callahan's property. That culvert, now I've actually seen it on a heavy rain kill everything out there where it went. I mean, it killed it down to the ground. I actually have pictures of that. And on the Cape, I've seen it do it 3 times, but not in that amount. You know, one time might be an area this big, next time a smaller one, but that one time it went all the way down through there, every arm of it, it was down to the dirt. And it came back. That's not healthy. It can't be.
How long ago was that?
Oh, that was, the biggest kill was back 4 or 5 months ago, probably. I mean, it's not all the time, but when it happens, you see it. But that's my whole thing is with the water, it only does it when it's raining and after the rain. And that's where, even talking to the EPD, you know, they're like, I don't care. I think a sample should be taken. If I have to do it myself, I will. When it starts raining, a few minutes into the rain, when everything's flowing, that would tell you how heavy that is and whatever's coming through there. Because we don't get rain but every so often now. You know, it's not like it rains every week. All that stuff's just building up. Where the trucks are, all that stuff coming out of the trucks, just building up on the parking lots. Where is it coming? Comes to me when it rains. That's the problem I have with that. And like I say, plus the noise at night is, like during the day, you don't really notice it as bad, but at night when they're cleaning, that shift
And that's
is,
the cleaning shift.
that's gotta be clean.
That's the-
So evidently they need more water, more everything to clean with, and they got everything ramped up, I don't know. But that's when it's the loudest and the worst noise-wise.
How long does that noise usually last?
It can last on from, I've noticed it from 7 o'clock on up to 1, 2 in the morning.
Continuously?
I gotta go to bed sometimes, so normally it's about 2 o'clock. That's, you know, I'm in bed. But I mean, I'm sure it goes on longer than that. But that, it's getting, you know, it gets in your head. And that's the worst part of it. You know, you start hearing it all the time. And when you sit in the house watching TV hearing it, that's too much. Plus all the other ones thrown in with it, the beeper, which I know the beeper we can't do nothing about. But the clanging, where they're throwing things around, dropping the cages, loading them, banging on all that stuff, something can be done about that. I think. But I guess I've got my 5 minutes.
Yeah, part of the problem we got is, you know, unfortunately, it's EPD, because they've got limits, and they won't come in if you don't exceed those limits, so.
Well, they're looking at them now, because you can't get any information on what's going on in there. And I'm waiting till something happens there so I can find out what's been going on. But, you know, it's just whenever. But how far can we go, how far can y'all go as commissioners to help with this noise and other problems? How much can y'all push them?
Well, that's a good question. We can certainly keep going. It's when do they quit listening? Or start listening, or however you want to look at it now.
Well, I mean,
supposedly they're gonna put in the burner, the flames, and if that's true, that most of that smell is coming from those lagoons, particularly the first one, I think, we'll find out in a hurry. We thought the noise should go down too. I think we can ask some questions now about the noise hasn't gone down, and what are they doing during their cleanup time? If that's one that's the worst.
we noticed they got something taped off between the store, in that low area between the plant and the store. Have you seen that, Greg? You know what it is? They won't pay.
Didn't ask. We asked them, I guess we asked if it was a drainage pond. All we got was no on that, but didn't say specifics other than that.
Well, it's taped off square and it's got 2 legs running off of it. It makes you, you know, I'd like to know. I was gonna wait until, you know, this meeting. I'll go over and ask Joe myself.
Okay.
I mean, you might not tell me, but I will go ask him. But that's my, you know, a lot of it is how far can, we need to keep this in their face, you know, on a however weekly or bi-weekly basis. We're, you know, we're not gonna stop.
And I think we're committed to that. We want to take this as far as
Or-
we can take it.
Well, that's what I want to hear, and I do appreciate
We'll
that.
do that, keep Martha apprised too,
Well, we-
if there's anything in the interim doing it,
But I mentioned to Martha too about, I was talking to the EPD girl to come down there the other day, and I asked her about plants in Buena Vista. She said, I said, you ever go over there? She said, I ain't been over there but one time. I said, really? I said, what was it like? She said, I was down there around the ponds and all that stuff. She said, it smells like.
Huh.
I said, imagine that.
Well, I get to be in a Vista about once a month for River Valley Regional Commission meeting. I'll just swing by there next time I'm down there.
You know, it'd be nice to get in there, you know, if they would. What are y'all doing, you know, we'd like to
That's
know.
the Tyson plant, isn't it?
I'm not sure.
I think it's the Tyson plant.
But I think that would be a good thing to say, let's look at this, and if it's that clean and all, that would be a guideline. If they can do it, why can't y'all?
If their equipment and setup is substantially similar, I don't know if it is or not.
Yeah, they might be smaller and so forth and so on, still, they'll probably do some chicken.
I won't be over there again till January, but I will call Tyson before and see if I can schedule a meeting. After my meeting, we can just go ask them some questions. See what's like.
Well, appreciate it.
Bobby?
Yes, sir. Bob Harrelson, 159 East Circle, Paramount Valley. It's like I'm going to spend a little time reading past minutes and listening to Jim's video. My understanding that this test is supposed to test for everything, not just E. coli. So I'm going to go back and see what the minutes, what Jim's video was saying about that. There's 3 different drainage areas on the property that J.C. owns. In front of the plant goes across the highway and the water pipe. The biggest part of it, behind the plant, drains into Fort Creek. The tract that just purchased, 15 acres they purchased last year from Holmes. The drainage area comes off of it. And it does run into Fort Creek, but just as Fort Creek goes under the highway. Now they've laid out, staked out a holding tank. They're going to intercept, looks like they're going to intercept the water off the 2 ditches. And that holding tank, and presumably they're going to pump it back over here. You take the water out of one drainage area and put it into another drainage area, which changes all the flood zones and everything on that drainage. You know, I want it off the Scott. I want it off of him bad, but you're really not supposed to pump that water back in there. But that's, the biggest part of the water is that 1,000 gallons a minute that Tom Mountain Valley and Harris County Water Works is pumping on that property. And they got less than 18 acres in that hayfield. And it just won't take that amount of water. You know, when it gets saturated, that's all that's going in. And it's greasy water, so it don't really soak in like clean water would. Our problem with the smell is mostly the poison ammonium nitrates that comes out of those settlement ponds and pumped out there on that hayfield. They cannot sell the hay for animal consumption. They're not supposed to, because it's got so many poison ammonium nitrates. Jim knows what I'm talking about. And I got a friend that owns property right there at Jones processing plant. We're going to put in a little fish pond down there, a plastic fish pond. We're going to put a pump in Fort Creek. And we're going to run it off a solar system. And we're going to put fish, crappie minnow, goldfish, crawfish, and everything that's the fish pond, and just see how long they'll live. Then we're going to get them up and bring them over and get in the yard. They're not going to live. There's nothing living in that creek. But has anything been decided about traffic on 354? I said somebody's going to get back in touch with me, and I haven't heard anything.
We haven't done any other, the sign's up, Mark?
I checked the other day, and the sign's not up yet.
Yeah, I didn't see it,
We checked
right a few
today.
days ago. But,
Check today it was.
You know, I'm interested, it just blows my mind that you think that a sign will solve that problem. When they get to the
Bobby, I don't
sign,
know that it says I don't know that it says we think the sign will solve the problem, but it at least puts a warning up there for them. I mean, that's the first step, the quickest thing we could do.
98% of the people that go through that rock bridge have been going through it for 50 years. I bet you I've been through it 10,000 or more times. Probably 20,000. But we know what the danger is. It's those people that don't know, that come in there with these trucks using GPS. And there's another wrinkle issue we ain't talked about. If the truck does make the switchback, comes into the valley on 354, they don't know where they're going. There's a little turnoff out at the ballpark. If they miss that, then they dead end at 116. It's impossible for them to come back and go east. What they doing now, they went west on 116, swinging off on B Street, going through that boy's parking lot and tearing it all to pieces, swinging out, then going back to the plant. And he goes out there and tries, before he can get out there, they're done gone most of the time. He did confront one of them, and he talked pretty nasty back to him. Now, I know that boy. He ain't gonna put up with too much of it. And I wouldn't either.
All right.
All right.
Okay, thank you, Bob.
You said Merry Christmas. I will say Merry Christ's birthday. 2015 is going to be a year of power that takes back control of their destiny. And we got some things cooking. We're not going to talk about it right now, but we're going to take control. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Bob. Next item, old business. This carried over from the last meeting, request from Direct Services for an additional $1,500 in the next year's budget, which is due to sequester cuts. And we have Scott Bryan and Paula Walker here tonight to share with us what's going on and answer any questions we might have.
We did. That's what we're here for. And if you pass those out, Carla, please. I'll ask you to do me the favor of not thumbing through those yet, because it's going to be hard to follow if y'all are trying to do that as we're talking. And I think I can get us through it a lot quicker
Okay.
if we're sort of all on the same page, literally and figuratively. Paula, some of you may know, is our site manager at Harris County Senior Center. She's been there since July, and she's doing a great job. She's got a lot of good activities going on, and has done a lot of things that are innovative as far as fundraising for the group of folks that need to take trips to Columbus and other places, and they're not resources for doing that except for those kind of efforts. But my name is Scott Bryan. I'm the Executive Director of Direct Services. Since a few months ago, we started doing business as Direct Services. Y'all probably know us by 10 or 15 different names. Lower Chattahoochee Direct Service Corporation, Lower Chat. And one of the things we're trying to do is to rationalize what folks call us. That's one way we might get known a little bit better, and it's particularly important where we're trying to raise funds that people understand who they're giving the money to. And I appreciate you letting me come tonight and make an appeal, and I will honor you all's time and make this as short as possible. And I understand that there are a couple of questions from maybe from Nancy's message back to me. One is, what are we doing for Harris County as far as Direct Services is concerned? And the second is, why do we need more funds? And I'll try to answer those as quickly and succinctly as I can. So I'll ask you now to go to page 1, and I won't belabor what's on page 1. It tells who we are. We're a nonprofit. I think y'all know that. We operate and serve seniors in 16 counties, disabled folks as well. Most of our work is in 8 counties. There are 2 programs that we do in 16, but most of them are in 8 counties, of which Harris is one. We have a very strong belief that our clients are better off when they can stay at home and in the community as long as possible, and most of our programs and most of our efforts are directed towards that, to keep them there, included even to get them to the senior center, to get them active and doing some exercises, involved in some mental stimulation and other things that they wouldn't get otherwise. One of the things about senior services, most of my work career has been in the private sector, and I think we all have our own opinions, or at least we think we do, about entitlements and what they really mean. Sometimes it's a feeling that we are only prolonging the problem by giving money to certain types of things, and that people become dependent, and we all go through those arguments forever and ever. It's not my intent to do so. But when we're talking about seniors, we're talking about a different scenario. We're talking about folks that have reached a point in their life where, and in our particular case, they've been evaluated, and there's some limitations in their ability to perform day-to-day activities. So that's our clientele. That's the folks that we are motivated to serve. I'll turn the page again to the second one, and you can see, and this is more of a view of all the services that we provide. And I know the question is, what are we doing in Harris County, which I'll get to in a second. But you can get an idea of the number of meals, senior centers, homemaker services, and other type activities that we're providing. But a sober graph is the one on the right that talks about population growth, and it's a U.S. Census projection. You know, I'm dating myself, but when I was coming along through school, you know, Georgia seemed to be stuck around 300 or 400 million folks. Georgia right now is close to 10 million, and you can see that that projection is to be 12.5 million in the year 2030. The scary thing about that is the green line, though. And that's what's happening to the 65-plus population. And we hear about it all the time, but this is reality. And obviously, we're talking about percentages here. We're not talking about millions of folks, but we're talking about a significant number that are going to be coming into, and already are coming into, the 60 to 65-plus category. And the question is, how are we going to address that? We believe that one of the best ways to address that is keeping them at home. We can turn to the third page right quickly. You'll see the services that we are providing in Harris County. This was our fiscal year 14, which ended in June, but it gives you an idea of the type of services we've been providing. There are 46 folks on home delivered meals, 31 on the senior center. I can answer any specific questions y'all have. Some of these programs you're probably not that familiar with, and I'll go into any level of detail you want, but I want to be considerate of your time. But you can see the total value of the services we're currently providing to seniors and disabled in Harris County is about $171,000. The current level of contribution from Harris County is, well, this was fiscal year ending 14 was $6,427.50. In no way am I implying that the contributions that have been made by Harris County in the past are not appreciated and needed. They certainly have been, and those that we're receiving today and those that we'll be receiving in the future are critical. We get a lot of our funding from federal and state sources, but we have about 10% of those funds that have to be raised from other sources, be them private individuals. Certainly we rely heavily on our counties, and need to continue to do so. One program is called Community Care, and I won't spend a lot of time on graph number 4 unless y'all want to know, but it's an indication of the significance of keeping somebody at home. There are 10 folks right now in Harris County on community care and a community care program where a care manager is looking after their activities, getting some home health services there, getting home delivered meals and so forth. And you can see the cost to the Medicaid program would be about $308,000 if they were kept in a long-term care facility. It's about $92,000, and that's a state projection if they're in community care. So you can see that this program is saving Medicaid, just the folks in Harris County, about $216,000 a year. The fifth page just shows that there's still a robust waiting list as far as home delivered meals and homemaker aid is concerned. And then I hope in the final, number 6, that we look at we've got a big challenge with the change in demographics, and I know I'm moving fast, and apologize, but this is something I can leave with you all, and felt like the pictures would be helpful. But you can see that the funding to direct services from federal and state sources have been very disappointing since about the year 2012. And you're asking, or the question is, why do we need more support? That is a fundamental reason. $1,500 is not going to bridge that gap, certainly, but we're going to every source of revenue that we can find, and really coming out of our closet, or shell, if you want to call it that, where we really haven't been aggressive in looking for ways to raise funds other than talking to our county friends and so forth. In the past, we're going to be much more aggressive in the future. And I'm certainly happy to answer your questions.
What is your total annual budget?
What is our total annual budget?
Yes.
Well, you can see on here, it's a little over $3 million. We also operate a kitchen, so I'd say the total is closer to $4 million with the kitchen revenue as well. I don't have the exact number here, but that's ballpark.
So what, of the $4 million, what percentage of that would be state and federal?
90+%.
And so the other 10%
Has to come from county donations, from, again, private individuals, corporations, and other folks. But certainly the county is and has been a significant part of our fundraising.
are you currently being funded by all the 16 counties?
No, because really there are 8 counties that we're doing business with primarily. There are a couple of counties that have smaller population than Harris that are actually donating more. There's some counties that could be donating more that aren't. We've been back to those counties and been able to get changes in the amounts of their donations from $2,500 to $1,500 a year.
What are the 8 counties?
What are they, 8 counties?
Former Lower Chattahoochee.
The former Lower Chattahoochee. I could give these: Clay, Randolph, pretty small counties. Muskogee being the largest, and second largest in our area would be Harris. Talbot,
Taylor,
Stewart.
Marion,
No, Marion's actually not in there.
That's right.
Lower Chattahoochee.
Webster.
Webster's not either. No, it's a skinny little line that goes down through their equipment.
Right.
And Randolph, yeah. I haven't been counting. I don't know if that's 8 or not.
Stewart?
Stewart's one, yeah.
And all 8 of the former Lower Chat regional development, they're in there, and then there are 2 from the former Flint.
There are 8 from the former, well, it's still Flint, but there are 2 programs, community care
Yeah.
and long-term care ombudsman, that we're providing programs for all 16 counties. And the other for meals, homemaker aid, and for senior centers and congregate meals in those centers, that's the 8 counties. There are actually just 4 senior centers, Harris being one of them.
How does, and I don't even know if you've got this, but the graphs that you have in here show Georgia. In Georgia, it's total in Georgia 65 plus.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have anything for this region? Although
No,
does it
it's
pretty
not.
closely parallel that?
I
Or
don't.
do you know?
I don't. We're a small population region, relatively so, but I think the order of magnitude is likely to be the same. But I don't have it broken out. The census data is that I've had access to is for the state, and it's fairly linear, as you can see, for the Georgia's population growth, but not for the 65 plus.
Is the 1,500 that you're asking for, is that the amount that has been cut? Or is that just after you've done all you can do, and that's what it's about.
That's kind of it. Last year, when I sent out the letters, and I admitted to whoever I wrote to that I had very little insight into what I was actually asking for at the time. I kind of duplicated what my predecessor had done. But there's some limitations with being as specific as we were trying to be in the past. So many meals, so many homemaker services, and so forth. One of them is you never know at any given time, it's kind of fluid, where the real need is going to be in the county and where we need those funds. And when we receive them in a designated fashion, then we honor what that is. So we're going to spend it on meals, even though we may don't have a shortfall in meals, but not have it available for homemaker services or something like that. So we're just asking for a little bit of funding for you. Of course, we'd love to move closer to 10%, but we're a long way away from that. And just for a matter of information, we do receive donations from Waverly Hall and from Pine Mountain. No, I'm sorry, from Hamilton, not from Pine Mountain. That's public.
I do know a little bit more about what than he can share here, because I am active with the River Valley Regional Commission. A lot of their funding comes from
Right.
Actually, they have a number of programs which tie into really.
Well, a lot of those funding
Yes.
comes from the area agency on
Funding,
aging.
yeah. So this is not a new story for me. I hear it from that side too. Their share has gone down because of federal government.
Mr. Bryan, if I'm reading this right, on page 2, on the left-hand side, talks about fiscal year 2014. It says senior centers, and then in parentheses, people served 169. So does that mean that you're serving 169 citizens of Harris County?
No, sir. The second page is a macro look at all the services that we're providing, all the meals. There are probably around 35 to 40 in Harris County that are using the senior center and that are on the rolls. We feed about 21, 22 per day.
So that number's for your 4 senior centers that you mentioned.
That's right. That's for four centers.
Meals that's going out.
And we have people that attend for a while and they're back out. You know, they're not coming for a while for one reason or another. In Paula's case, she's got a group that comes from Waverly Hall half the week, or really not half, 2 days, and then another group coming from Pine Mountain and around for 3 days. And that's because of transportation, which is also a funding source, and there are limits on that. But that works pretty well, because some folks would rather be there the 2 days or the 3 days, and we're trying to get them there for 5 days. That was sometimes too much for them. But we do appreciate any consideration you could give, and I didn't say in the beginning that we are most appreciative for the faithful donations we've gotten from Harris County in the past. It's been something we could count on once the agreement was made, and I know we're asking for something a little extraordinary, but our circumstances are a little extraordinary.
What is your budget year?
It ends in June, the end of June, yeah. So we wrote the letters, I guess, requesting funds back around last March or so. And again, that's following tradition that I haven't chosen to alter because of what the expectations are, you know. Okay.
Any other questions?
What is in our budget? 65?
6,500 is in the budget, right, Greg? Well, I tell you what, I know what these folks do, and I know that the folks that they do provide services to need it. He's not asking for that much, he's asking for 1,500. I think we ought to step up the plate, put a little bit more money in. I'm going to make a motion that we approve an additional 2,500.
I
discussion? All in favor, signify by raising your hand. Motion carries. $2,500.
Bless you.
Thank you, folks.
Thank you for what you do.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I have a question on your, you need that? I would like to get an update on where we are in the process, the preliminary process in the paving of the unpaved roads in the county that we,
Good.
if somebody could tell me where we are, John?
We've got a zillion titles that I've gotten checked, and we are, I've started to draw deeds to some of those roads, and as soon as we get those, we're ready to go. So
What's your time frame on
I was
that?
gonna ask if there's an estimate of time.
I'll put the, put my shoulder to the grindstone and just, do one, see if I can get out some, a couple of roads by the middle of next month.
Well, and can we even do them at that point in time? That's, I mean,
You go ahead and take the right away.
we do, do the right way, and I think we ought to start going ahead and moving. I know last time we talked, I think we had said we wanted to get a couple of them done so we can start moving on them.
Okay, we'll get them ready to go. That's all right.
Sure?
Yeah. You may give it back to me, Dick. All right.
Do you have an idea which roads you'll get done first?
Is that not something we have to vote on?
No, there was a list, and I
There
can't,
is a
Yeah, there was a
list.
list.
and I was
And five,
coming,
and then five, and he's got all those.
yeah, I was coming down that list of,
Okay.
the first one was,
What was it, Washington?
yeah, Washington, there's about 30 parcels on that road.
Yeah.
35 parcels, and it was
That's,
yeah. We got the survey on it, so.
okay.
Can we get it in such a manner that, once the weather turns and we can do roads, we will have roads?
Oh,
ready?
yes. I'll have it, yeah.
Good. All right.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else on that page? All right, we then move into new business. First item is sewer ordinance. John?
Yes, sir. There's a sewer ordinance in front of you that I sent out last month, and then also have just recently sent out an update on it, making several changes that Martha had looked at that needed some changes, but those were they were kind of minor changes, and those were the only ones, so I did not create a comparison because they were relatively few and relatively minor in nature. But what this sewer ordinance does is as I indicated in our email, and my email to you back in November, as you well know, you are going to develop a sewer system for the Grove in conjunction with the Mulberry Grove LLC, and you will own the sewer system that's in Harris County. You will not have a sewage treatment plant in Harris County. What you've got is an agreement, an intergovernmental agreement with Columbus Water Works, which operates the sewer for Muskogee County. They've agreed to take the sewage that is generated from this project and take it into their system Of course, there'll be a charge for it, and then they'll treat the project. But as a part of that, that transaction, they said that we would, needed to adopt a sewer ordinance similar, substantially similar to that, which Muskogee has got. And, that's what this ordinance has done. I've taken it and, pared it down such that, it would affect, Harris County. And the only part of Harris County that would be effective right now is that, portion of the subject to, or it will be in Mulberry Grove development. If there are other areas that come into, and develop sewers, such as Woodland Hills, I think over the years has talked about it. And the last time they were in here, they were working on that project. If that is the case, then we will already have a sewer ordinance in effect. And it is compatible with that of with Muskogee. And it is it's quite lengthy, and I'm not by any stretch of the imagination don't purport to every single thing about it, but it meets the Federal Water Pollution Control Act and all the EPD regulations. And that's what we have to do, and when we own that sewer system, is that we'll have to meet those regulations also. And I think one of the bigger concerns that Muskogee has is that we will not put anything in that system that they will take, that they have to take, that is going to create them any sort of EPD or water problems or code of federal regulations problems when they start treating that sewage. But it will be a public sewer. You own it. You charge a sewer rate on it for those on a monthly basis. Part of that will have to go to and part of that fee you'll be generating monthly from users will have to go to you'll have to pay that to Muskogee County, and they will for taking the sewage and treating the sewage. This is the we talked about it at the November 26th meeting, and I would recommend that you adopt this sewer, waive the first reading, and adopt this ordinance.
Just a quick update for the commission as well as along this subject. We had the pre-construction meeting today with Gordy Construction, the engineers. And the start date for this project is projected at February 2nd. There will be some preliminary clearing going on one of the properties prior to that. And from there, they'll have 240 days to complete.
And the bonds that will be used, the bond money to finance this is to be validated Thursday and this week, and then the closing, I think, is the 22nd. So, funds will be available for the project to start on that start date.
All right. Any questions of John on this at all?
It's something that we've been working on since 2006.
Yes.
It's finally coming to fruition.
All right, I will entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion that we approve the ordinance.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor of the motion, please signify by raising your hand. Motion carries unanimously.
Mr. Chairman, before we leave this particular item, I'd like to ask for a change in procedure for notification to the commissioners. If there's a change, I would like to request if there are any changes that made to anything that we have that we need to vote on, that those changes be communicated to the commissioners, and if the other commissioners don't want those changes communicated, I'd like to have them communicated to me.
All right. Okay, so moved. All right. Let me clarify that, because certainly substantive changes, I agree. If it's just like a typo or something like that, do you want that also?
I'd like to have all changes, please.
All changes, okay. Just one, make sure.
Because if I don't have all changes, I don't know that they're just standard typos or whatever, so I wouldn't have any way of knowing that. I am uncomfortable voting on any measure when I get this has been changed, and I don't know what the changes are.
Okay.
So I have.
So we need red line copies of change.
That would be great for me to get red line.
Okay, very well. All right, next issue is workplace wellness policy. Greg, is that?
Yeah, I can address it, sir.
Yeah, please.
We've gotten more active with the new health care, MSI, and Blue Cross Blue Shield reviewing our wellness program, realized that we don't have a workplace wellness statement adopted. So Nancy and some of the committee members got together and looked at some other ones and drafted a policy for Harris County to adopt so that we are in compliance with the requirements of that. Greg?
This is the only part we are missing.
Okay.
This is voluntary, or is it?
Yes,
Yeah.
For the
Yes.
employees, I mean.
yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. It has to be offered to everyone, whether they take part in it is their
It's their decision.
choosing, yes, ma'am.
But this helps us get that wellness grant.
Yes,
Well, but they're strongly encouraged, right?
yes, sir. We're gonna try and think of some kind of incentive to get them to do it, whether it be a gift card or a day off or something with your permission, but we're not that far yet.
Okay.
The wellness committee, is that,
Right now, it's basically me and Chris.
I chime in every once in a while.
Yeah, we'll get more staff involved.
And so the wellness committee will be in charge of, what's the responsibility of the wellness committee?
Well, Chris has to keep ACCG, the wellness thing, notified of what we're doing every quarter.
Okay.
In exchange for that little $2,500 grant we get every year, we're supposed to offer them blood pressure checks, blood sugar checks, things like that, or some kind of health product. And we've been doing that, but they haven't been as dotting their i's and crossing their t's as much, which is why they discovered we don't have this.
When we have the wellness clinics, for
Right.
lack of a better word,
Yes,
who
ma'am.
does those?
We're gonna have two set up. One's gonna be done by our EMS people for the blood pressure check and blood sugar check. At that time, somebody with a wellness program will come down and do a health form that, it basically asks you how many times a week do you exercise, do you walk?
Risk analysis.
Risk analysis, yes, couldn't think of that word. And
Okay.
then we're gonna have another one where they come down and explain to everybody, because although everybody knows they have Blue Cross Blue Shield insurance, they don't know what they can get out of it by going online and seeing what's offered. And we're gonna have another class like that. So it's gonna be starting like March, April, May, somewhere in that neck of the woods. We will, of course, keep you all notified. And thank you.
All right.
But this is just a piece of the puzzle we're supposed to have to have that.
You have to check the block.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So we have, I guess we have to vote on this
Yes, sir.
form here. Entertain a motion.
make a motion that we approve the form?
Have a motion, have a second. Motion and second, any more discussion? All in favor, please signify by raising your hand. Motion carries unanimous. Just I'll break in real quick, we did receive this week, the membership dues assessment for next year for ACCG. And our normal dues would be $4,359.21. But because of our participation in the workers' property discount, the group health plan, the retirement plan, we receive maximum discount off of that, which is 35%. So our savings is roughly $1,000 a year. We have paid $3,396. So that helps pay for the
Senior center.
there you go. Okay. Next is a tax refund request from Sydney Ferris. It's in your packet. He's requesting a refund of $455. It's for excess tax payments over the last 3 years, which resulted from an incorrect initial survey. In that survey, the square footage of the residence was changed from 4,514 square feet to 4,193 square feet. And, Board of Tax Assessors disagrees with that. And the square footage was based on the best available information at the time. I don't know anything more than that. So, Greg, Nancy, you have any additional information on that?
I have a couple of comments. If that was the best available information at the time and it was erroneous, why would we expect him to pay for it? Who did the survey?
I have a question, what is the survey?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that you survey a house.
I think what it should have been based off of should have been the building plans, the square footage presented in the building permit, and somehow that apparently was presented wrong, or they changed their building. I don't know. We can further research that if you'd like to table it and give staff a little bit.
The reason for disagreeing with the tax assessor's board was based on the best available.
Yeah,
I don't,
that's not a
I'm
good
having a
answer.
hard time understanding that reason.
That's not a good answer. I agree. If the square footage was on the plans that were submitted to us and that, and it was the higher number, that's a good reason for why we did it. And you hold the builder accountable, or you hold the homeowner for not doing it.
What I'd like to know is this a taxpayer's fault? Or should he have known, did he have notice? If so, then I'd be inclined not to do the refund, but if it's not his fault.
It's
And he
not his
didn't know
fault.
about it.
We shouldn't
And
hold
he
him
found out-
responsible.
And he found out later that the square footage was wrong.
I
I
would
was trying to correct it, and I would be fine with it for him.
Yeah, if he should have duly known that, I agree with
I have a more basic question than that. I said, why do we think that it's 4,193 feet now?
We need a survey.
That's a good question, too.
Well, the assessors have to go out every year and revalue property, and
Yeah.
sometimes that requires, they go out and measure your property.
And sometimes the homeowner won't allow it.
Right.
There's a correct 2014 survey shows 4193 square feet.
And it may be that the tax assessor's survey showed that, I don't know. We can find, like Greg said, we can
Good
certainly
I
get more details.
didn't know who's correct survey that.
That's true. And I do know that if the homeowners will not allow the tax assessors in, and some of them don't, then they do have to just measure the outside of the house and draw some conclusions on that basis.
That's a pretty good difference.
That's a pretty good difference, but I mean, if that's the reason for it and they didn't mismeasure somehow, then, yeah, the homeowner had the opportunity for it to do it correctly. Yeah, I think we need to find out.
Maybe go with it on that.
Yeah, okay, we'll just table that one until you have the information. Okay, next is the plan document for the 457B plan.
That was me.
And that was the documents we signed when we switched over to EPCOR.
Mr. Chairman, if I can state up front that I'll recuse myself from any discussion or vote on this,
Okay.
since one of the positions listed as a jury court.
Okay. And these are, apparently, there's some ones that we have not.
Previously, we did, for some reason, I was
Right.
checking that section, and our previous version didn't show those as being part of our plan. We offer them to this is considered a full-time employee benefit, or it was. But with this new plan, all those were checked, and my question to you is, do you believe everybody should be included with it, or just full-time employees?
it refreshes
These are their contributions.
that's what I would say, it's
We don't-
nothing from
county
the
didn't
county.
contribute to it.
Right, and that's why I lean towards,
Greg didn't have an issue with it,
Yeah.
but y'all,
I think, if it's a benefit that the employee themselves pays for, and we want to make sure that we take care of our employees and they have an opportunity to accrue the tax benefits and the retirement benefits, even though they're working part-time, why should we exclude them, is my question. There isn't a reason. I think it's just, it doesn't cost us anything, it's a benefit to the employees, it makes our employees feel like they're appreciated more. For me, it's a win-win, but, I mean, it's not really, once you get the initial paperwork done, it's done, unless you have to change it on an annual basis, so, even though the employees, are the higher end, no, just kidding, they probably have a little bit more, well, the part-time folks don't have much opportunity for retirement, so that's definitely, some of the higher end employees obviously are more in tune with some retirement plans and things like that, but still, it's a benefit that, why should you exclude them from it? There's no reason.
I talked with Paul Bates, and he said anybody that goes through our payroll system could be eligible if we so choose that. And I
Well, I'd say that's a common sense decision.
just want to make sure that y'all are on the same sheet.
Yeah, that we include them, I
to
mean.
include them.
I
Okay,
don't have any problem with that.
that's fine. I just wanted to make sure before
Well, the
that
extension,
question.
like the extension aid is not on, so that would be excluded, they open up for our pay system, so.
Point of clarification, we don't have a state court judge.
I know, that was just their whole list, so we should
Okay,
take the state court judge off.
is
because
this
we don't
something,
have one.
we've already signed that document?
Yes, sir.
So I don't guess
Yes.
we need, it's just consensus, we're all okay with that.
Right. And they don't have an issue with it, if we
Okay.
have somebody found, if we don't, we don't. Okay, as is.
I'm
Thank you.
abstaining from the consent.
Yes. Thank
You
you.
could just say it was a license.
Okay. Next item is radar list update. Nancy, I know you.
Well, this is, I don't know if members of this board have done radar list updates, but this is something that the sheriff's office has to have in place in order for them to run radar on a road. Just because somebody's speeding on your road, they can't come out and run radar if it's not on this list. So, there are a lot of roads on here, and there's a lot of roads that are not. Maybe probably goes to the length of the road. And I think Jim and I talked before the meeting, and he has a few changes that we need to tweak, so.
But I've been on commission for 6.5 years, I don't remember this yet.
I think the last time it was done was in 2010, so, but you may have been absent that day.
It normally comes up when we have a request to change the speed
Right.
limit on the road.
And
Or add roads to.
they don't like us to make one every year or so. So I collect the requests and all, and so we have a number. And then I had these, a lot of these came from sheriff's deputies who went out and double checked some of the roads, but apparently Jim said there's not right here, so.
But I am confused.
Okay.
The very second one on the first page, I'm very familiar with, I'm on that road every day, where, 85, the 4-lane comes into
Right.
South Harris County, and then goes down to 2 in Ellerslie, and then goes on up to Waverly Hall. And it talks, I read what it says here, and I think it's accurate, what it says here. But what does it mean by discrepancy?
Because the list shows 55 miles an hour period for that distance, but apparently there are signs posted that say otherwise.
Okay, so,
There's 45 miles.
There's a 65 area and a 45 area, so.
yeah, because it slows down, it
Right.
becomes,
And this list is supposed to tell where that change takes place. Otherwise, running radar on 55, and you're actually going in a 45 or a 65 zone, and
I do have a question.
These are the only roads that they can work on.
so they can run radar on.
There's certain requirements for visibility, things like that, the sheriff's department has to have. Now, state patrol can be very different. And the state keeps a list of the state highways, we've been there speaking this to them.
of speed.
Because it looks like a lot of roads that even if there were long periods of stretches where they could run radar, they are not running radar.
That's what I think, if you know some roads that you think radar should be running, give them to me, we'll incorporate them, and then DOT will double check, they have the final say. They'll go out and look at it and say, no or yes. If they say yes, they'll go ahead and sign and send it back, and then I'll sign off on it.
Answer on the ones that, like the one I mentioned, when it says discrepancy. So where do we go from here?
Well-
Are they gonna change that?
That's, I want to send them all these notes to say, this is discrepancy, the list says one thing, the road is posted something else, or vice versa. And so they're gonna have to make that change.
Well, on 85, they, they need to go by where it's posted.
They
I think the postings are accurate for the different areas that go through there.
Yeah, and they need to make that adjustment, whether it's either 65 the whole way, or it's 55 the whole way, or it's posted, where it breaks down.
Okay, so when you say they, you're talking about the sheriff.
DOT.
DOT is the one that has to do this.
Yeah, sheriff right now will be going by the posted speed limit.
The deputy is the one who went and reviewed these and told me some of these discrepancies. They said, okay, you have a mile post here that says this, then your speed limit says this, but then the list says something else. So who's right? The list or the sign? The way we understand it, it's the list.
For example, in one place, there's a speed limit sign as you go from the country store and then down into the railroad bridge. The speed limit sign going south, you can see where it changes to 50 miles an hour, but going north, there's no such sign. So it's just missing.
Yeah, and that's one of the ones that Jim wanted to make sure we get put in there. That'd be a discrepancy.
I think that sign is actually missing in DOT, just doesn't have it.
It's been years.
And the corrections are mainly to change what they have CR road, which is a county road number. Deputies don't know county road numbers. They want to know what the name of the road is. And there again, that would be DOT's discretion whether they do that. Then the addition to the ones where we've been asked to either add the road for whatever reason.
And these off-system are roads,
Off-system are county roads, on-system are state roads.
you told me that before, but
All right,
So,
I guess we can approve this list, but there are gonna also be additions to it.
I don't know, Jim, did you want to table it or
there,
go as it is?
it's probably better just to go through the whole thing because there's portions of it, like part of it's improved. They have signs on one part of the road, but not on where they decrease the speed limit, but not where they increase the speed limit. So consequently, people are thinking probably thinking for miles that they should be doing 35 when it's actually a 45 mile an hour zone
Table?
and things like that.
So would that be a table?
Yes, please.
Okay.
I thought that there was some statute, Martha, you made those that you handle a lot of these that sign, the limit actually is 300 feet on either side of the sign.
That seems right. It's been quite a few years since I looked at it.
But it still have to be posted, so.
Yeah, it's got to be posted. Is it 5?
Actually, the one sign on Lake Skillet was like 2 miles between the signs.
A lot of roads just have a speed limit sign where the road starts, and then one where it starts at the other end. Some of them, there's nothing in between if you come on a side road.
Okay. So, anybody's got anything to add to that?
Please.
Do
Okay.
we have a countywide speed limit?
It depends on the kind of road it is.
Well, not, in Columbus, I think it's 30 miles per hour on this other last coast, or something like that.
I don't
So
think we do.
there's kind of a default
Yeah.
speed limit, but we don't have anything like
As
that.
far as I know, we don't.
I don't know that for a fact.
We can try to research that, but I don't.
I thought non-paved roads are 25.
We have different limits, like it depends on the kind of road, whether it's an arterial road or if it's a paved road or a dirt road, there are different limits, but I don't know if it's otherwise.
There is a state establishment. I think for dirt roads, unless it's posted, I think it's 35. Because we went through this issue with some speeding on dirt roads and we had it posted at a lower level. But lowest within the state of Georgia. So as I recall, I think 35 sounds right.
Then we probably revert back to state.
But that's-
Let's contact Sheriff Jolly, he certainly ought to know, and then find out what those limits are.
Well, the limits are in the state law.
Well, let us know, sure, so we will have the answer to that question
Okay.
next meeting. Okay, the next.
In the meantime, should we go through each road in our district?
Only if the road is not on the list and you think it needs to have radar on it for one reason or another, then, give me the name of the road and I'll get Mr. York to look at the road to see what speed limit he thinks it should be assigned to it. I can get deputies to look at them to see what they think they should be. On the other hand, if you don't need to have any more roads added, just look at the ones that are on the list that are in your district and see if you think the speed limit is too fast or too slow, because if you lower them, I guarantee you somebody's going to fuss. And if you raise them, you'll have some that fuss too.
Okay.
So depending on the number of changes, it may not be on the next agenda.
Right. Next item is appointments, reappointments.
Mr. Chairman, before you get started, down there on Recreation Board, Pine Mountain Youth Sports did make a recommendation to reappoint Gyro Gay.
Okay,
So,
and you had an opportunity to talk to Ms. Gay?
Mr. Gay,
Gay.
no, he's already on the Recreation Board.
He agrees to
Oh, yeah.
continue?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a yes.
Mhm.
All right.
And then, Family and Children's Services,
Yes.
they did not like the first appointee who agreed to it, and so after that, we have added 6 to decline them.
So we're still looking.
We're still looking.
We're still looking.
Okay. All right. Agri Center Board, all 3 of those individuals have agreed to be reappointed, and the Agri Center Board has recommended that all 3 be done. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion. All in favor, signify by raising your hand. Carries. Next one is Development Authority, Mark Smith at large, and he's agreed to be reappointed, and Ben Williams, for District 4, he's agreed to be reappointed. Do I have a motion?
I'll move the motion if they be reappointed.
Okay. All right. A motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by raising your
Who
hand.
was the second?
Joey.
Okay.
Okay. Family and Children Services, that one Jim told us about, we're working on it. Board of Health, Greg Wood to replace Wendy Cole.
We never made that official change, so this is just to do that.
Okay.
Yes, as I'm the vice chairman, that might be a good idea.
All right.
Need to make you legal.
All right, I have a motion.
So move.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Library Board, Warren Aldrich, Maureen Avery, Elaine Bell, Harry Lang, all have agreed to be reappointed. Anybody wants to take on the Library Board in my place?
Well, this lake looks good to me.
Okay.
Yeah, I move we accept this.
Okay,
Second.
we got a motion and a second. All in favor, signify by raising your hand. By the way, all of you probably are aware by now, but Debbie Marino, after 20-some odd years with the library, is retiring shortly after the end of the year. So we with Ann Graffinino and then Debbie Marino, we've been in great shape for a long time, but they haven't posted it for looking for her replacement.
So who selects a new director of that board?
We have nothing to do with that.
Should be
No.
state.
No,
The board of library board.
Should be state, right?
I think it's the Harris Troop Regional.
It's
Yes,
the library
which is
system. Yeah.
Falls
Yeah.
under the.
Yeah.
Falls under the state, yeah. Okay, Planning Commission, John Britt.
Mr. Britt's from District 3.
Right.
And he has agreed to serve. I'd like to recommend him
Okay.
again. And if we could, I have someone who I would like to talk to about Mr. Rutledge's at-large position. I'd like to table that one if we could.
Okay. I had a couple of names in mind too, so I'd like to chat with you. One of them may be the same.
Maybe.
Okay, so we have motion, I'll take the motion for John Britt. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by raising your hand. Motion carries. Rec Board, Mike Fuson, Waverly Hall, been recommended by their youth association, and he said, no, they recommended Purvis Chapman to replace Mike Fuson, who did not want to run.
This one might be a little complicated. Because I'm going to recommend Mike Fuson for the at-large position of Chuck Herndon.
Okay,
And he has agreed. to
He
serve
has
at large.
agreed.
Yes.
all right, so,
You're right.
okay, so, all right, so we got Purvis Chapman for the Waverly Hall position. Gerald Gay has been recommended for the Pine, to continue as a Pine Mountain one, and he's agreed. Mike Fuson for the at-large position, formerly held by Chuck Herndon, he's agreed. And then Cindy Redmond, recommended by Catala, and she has agreed to continue.
Correct.
So, do I have a motion for those four?
I'll make the motion that we accept all four.
Second.
Motion and a second, any discussion? All in favor, signify by raising your hand. Motion carries unanimously. Tax Assessors Board, Rick Norris's term expires yesterday, day before yesterday. And he is, the Board of Tax Assessors have recommended that he continue, and he has agreed. I have a motion.
Make that motion.
Second.
Motion and a second, discussion. All in favor, signify by raising your hand. Motion carries unanimously. Board of Zoning Adjustments, Billy Collins' term expires in 17, but he has resigned. We need, do we have someone out of District 1?
Not yet.
Not yet, okay, we will hold up. All right, so all of them are done, but the position, the at-large position on the Planning Commission, and the District 1 Commissioner on Board of Zoning Adjustments,
And Family and Children's Services.
and the Family and Children's Services. Okay.
Well, they'll stay until y'all tell me otherwise.
All right. Okay, and behind that is tab 9A, appointments. We have the dates for the various boards and authorities, their meeting dates.
This is rezoning.
And the zoning application dates, deadlines, ads, etc. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second. Motion to approve in a second. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by raising your hand. Motion carries unanimously. Okay. All right, next is the, any other new business before we leave that?
Mr. Chairman, I have one thing. Sergeant Raines with the State Patrol called me today, and to remind y'all, you approved the $12,000 in the budget to be used toward the completion of their building for anything except landscaping and irrigation. He called today and asked if he could use the balance of their money toward buying tablets for the troopers to use when they're writing tickets or whatever, to record conversations that they can then plug into their computer and whatever. I told him I have to clear that with y'all since your motion, or since your inclusion was specific to building except for irrigation and landscaping.
Kathy says in iPads or?
It's something like that, he just said tablets, so yeah, it's something that they can use, it's to, I don't know if it's to video record or just, voice record while they're doing tickets or stopping cars or whatever, and, you know.
Since we don't have cameras, and that's beginning
Well, I don't know
to be
if
a big,
I don't know if troopers had, by the way, he had a trooper hit by a car today when they were stopping, working an accident or working a traffic issue. He said he was hurt, but he was okay.
Are they going to be using these to actually write the tickets and issue?
He talked something like recording issues.
Seems odd, I
We
mean,
can get
capabilities
more
are-
information, bring it back next time if you want.
I think I like.
Okay, that's fine.
All right.
That's a big change going from completion of a building to tablets.
Yes, sir.
Do they not need the funds for the building?
I don't know if they've finished with that or not, but like, we can have Mr. Raines come here, come and let him explain it to you.
I
He's-
don't know that he, unless he wants to come, if he can just tell us.
Okay.
But if he wants to come, he's welcome to it.
Yeah, I would sort of like to know if this is in lieu of that, or if this is something in addition to what we've already.
No, it's in with what we've, the $12,000.
So it would be in lieu of.
Toward the building, yeah.
because you said the balance of that is
Yes, ma'am.
$12,000.
He's got a, not quite half left, so,
So it's about $6,000,
somewhere in that neighborhood, yes.
It would be good to know if that amount that they want to use from our budget is going to take care, or they're getting some money from some other counties also.
They only ask from us.
Troop and
Troop
Harris are the
are
only
the
two
only ones.
counties.
Right, but is Troop going to be contributing toward this, or is this is going to cover all of their needs?
He felt like the money that we have and what we have for them would take care of the tablets that he needs. But I will get that cleared up. See if they need it for the building, if they use it more for what they were used for. Okay. Or if you guys would be here. Okay.
All right. We move to county manager's portion and airport security system, Greg?
Yes, sir. I've actually talked to 3 security systems folks. One of them was not competitive, so I didn't include them in the bid. ACOM and Integrated Security Systems both came out and did a good survey of the property. The reason we are needing this is, especially now that we've got the jumbo T hangars and we've got the other hangars out there, the value of the aircraft is certainly increasing out there as we look towards potentially having a commercial hangar. And this provides us knowledge of who's going to, as far as the gas tanks, observing those, observing who comes into the building. It's something we've needed for a while, and especially now the value's gone up. We really need this to have some security out there. And what this does is provide 2 separate systems, one that monitors the area around the hangars, and the other one that monitors the terminal area, the parking lot behind the terminal, and also focuses out towards the gas tanks so that we know who's been on site. The airport manager has seen signs of people being out there after the airport is shut down for the evening. Some of it is just kids horsing around doing stuff they don't need to be doing, and some of it we don't know. So we definitely want to make sure that we provide the security that the aircraft owners expect, and that's why we've gone ahead and requested this.
Question on this system, does it record?
Yes.
Okay, so
It's 2 DVRs in it. They're all high definition cameras. They all have night vision capability.
great. And does it provide an alarm?
We can configure it so that it can ping, for example, a smartphone. I don't think you have a smartphone with you. We could have it set it up so that we could probably set it up so we don't have it set up that way now, but it has capability where we could tie it in by internet to 911 if we wanted to.
What's our security system now?
0, nothing. Mr.
Bill's ears.
Bill's watching.
Bill's our security system.
I tell you what I told TSA, 12 days.
That'll work.
Where's ISS? Where's that company? Is it out of Columbus?
Yes. Both are.
What kind of insurance do we have for malicious damage or something that may be occurring?
We have our $1 million liability. That does nothing to discourage such activity.
No, but it's just a $1 million umbrella.
I believe so.
May need to be increased.
It sounds,
You talking about liability, or are you talking about property damage?
I was just wondering what kind of insurance there is.
Should be some of both.
We do, we
Yeah.
have both on there. I just can't tell you what the limit is.
May we look at the limits?
But the aircraft owners should have their own insurance.
Right.
They should. All right.
The recommendation is to go with ACOM because they have the low bid. And if you do accept ACOM, then there's also a question if you want to do the extended warranty for 2 additional years at $26 a month.
3 additional
Am I messing that up again? So it's a 4-year warranty? I thought it was a 3-year warranty.
The first one is included.
So it's a 3-year, yeah, that's what I said, 3 years, and you pay for 2 additional years. Or are you reading it differently than I?
No, it says 36 months beginning 1 year after installation.
Okay, you're right.
So it's 3 years.
1 year.
4 years total.
Yes.
So we total 4 years, 3 years that we pay for.
Correct. My bad. But that's a separate issue.
It's about $312 a year for the extended service. I don't know what the recommendation is on that.
If we call them, we'll, use all that money in one,
Get that up pretty quick.
yeah.
What is the warranty cover?
1 year full warranty, parts and labor.
And the extended warranty is just as strong as the original warranty?
My understanding it is.
You know, entertain a motion.
Make a motion that we approve the ACOM bid with the extended warranty.
Okay,
Second.
all right, a motion and a second. Any discussion?
I just have a question. When can they get this in?
I will get a hold of them tomorrow.
The sooner the better.
All right, all in favor, please signify by raising your hand. Motion carries unanimously. Anything else, Rick?
No, sir.
John?
No, sir.
All right. That being nothing else, I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
Do we need to go into executive session?
No, unless somebody says something.
He did not get the information on that land that you were looking for. Working on it.
Okay.
Move the adjourn.
We got a motion for adjournment and a second. All in favor? Okay. Those of you who stuck with us tonight, Merry Christmas again. See you next year.